You're standing in line. Your phone is dead. 10 seconds pass and something in your chest starts to itch. You reach for a pocket that has nothing in it. You look around for something, anything, to land your eyes on. This feeling has a name. But the real answer is far stranger than a name. Boredom isn't a glitch in your brain. It's one of the oldest alarms your body has ever built. Think about that for a second. Every emotion you feel exists because it once kept someone alive. Fear kept your ancestors away from the edge of a cliff. Disgust kept them away from spoiled meat. So what was boredom built to protect against? The psychologist John Eastwood at York University has spent years trying to answer that question. He defines boredom as the uncomfortable feeling of wanting to be engaged in something and not being able to find it. Not a lack of things to do, a lack of meaningful direction for your attention. That distinction matters more than it sounds like it should. Here's the strange part. Your brain treats an unengaged mind almost like a threat. Not a dramatic threat. Not a lion in the grass. A quieter one. A signal that says your attention is being wasted, and wasted attention for most of human history was dangerous. Picture your ancestors 80,000 years ago. Sitting still for too long wasn't peaceful. It was risky. A predator could be closing in. A storm could be building on the horizon. Food could be rotting a few hours away instead of being gathered. Boredom in that world wasn't an empty feeling. It was a push, a physical urge to get up, to scan the horizon, to move towards something useful before it was too late. You still carry that push today. You just don't call it survival anymore. You call it annoying. The researcher Sandy Mann at the University of Central Lancashire ran a series of studies on this exact discomfort. In one, she had participants complete a boring task, copying numbers from a phone book before asking them to come up with creative uses for 2 polystyrene cups. The bored group generated more ideas and stranger ones than the group that skipped the boring task entirely. Boredom didn't shut their minds down. It pushed their minds to search. That's the twist most people miss. Boredom doesn't feel like searching, it feels like nothing. But underneath the nothing, your brain is scanning. It's asking the same question your ancestors' brains asked while sitting at the edge of camp. Is there something better I should be doing right now? Why does that question feel so unbearable in the modern world? Because for most of your evolutionary history, the answer was almost always yes. And finding it required effort. Effort you could act on. Walk further. Check the traps. Watch the tree line a little longer. The itch had a destination. Today, the itch fires the same way, but the destination has mostly disappeared. There's no tree line to check. There's no fire to tend. There's only a screen, already glowing, ready to swallow the itch before it finishes forming. The neuroscientist James Dankert at the University of Waterloo studies exactly this mismatch. His research shows that boredom activates brain regions tied to the desire for reward, the same circuitry that lights up when you're hungry or thirsty. Not metaphorically hungry. Your brain treats meaninglessness the way it treats an empty stomach. It wants to be fed with something, and it doesn't much care what. That's why boredom in the modern world so often collapses into scrolling. Not because you're weak, because you're ancient. Your brain still runs the 80,000-year-old script that says, find stimulation now, and it has no built-in filter for whether that stimulation is a fresh water source or a 15-second video of a stranger's dog. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. If boredom is a survival instinct, then constant entertainment might be quietly disabling it. Every time the itch appears and you feed it instantly, your brain never has to search. It never has to generate its own answer. Sandy Mann's polystyrene cup experiment worked because participants had nowhere else to put their attention. Give a modern brain a phone instead of a phone book, and the itch disappears before the search even begins. So what happens to an alarm system that never gets to finish ringing? Some researchers think it starts ringing louder. This is the part that should sound familiar. You feel bored faster than you used to. 15 seconds without stimulation now feels unbearable, when your grandparents could sit on a porch for an hour without reaching for anything at all. That's not a personal failing. That's a survival instinct with nowhere left to search, firing again and again because it never gets satisfied the way it evolved to be satisfied. Think back to the line you were standing in. Phone dead, chest itching. In that moment, Something ancient was actually trying to help you. It wanted you to look around, to notice something, to generate an idea, a memory, a plan, anything your mind could build on its own. Instead, most people just wait it out, eyes glazed, until the itch passes or the line moves. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. That itch, uncomfortable as it is one of the only moments left in modern life where your brain is forced to make something out of nothing. No script, no feed, no algorithm deciding what comes next. Just you, and an ancient alarm, and whatever your mind decides to do about it. Dankert's research suggests something else too. People who tolerate boredom better, who sit with it instead of escaping it, tend to show stronger self-regulation overall. Not because boredom itself is good, because learning to respond to that old alarm with your own direction instead of an instant external fix is a skill your ancestors needed constantly and most people barely practice anymore. So the next time that itch shows up, in a line, in a waiting room, in the 10 seconds before your phone finds a signal, consider what it actually is. Not laziness, not a malfunction, a message from deep in your evolutionary past, still trying to do its job, still asking the same question it asked at the edge of every ancient campfire. Is there something better you should be doing right now? You're standing in line. Your phone is dead. 10 seconds pass, and something in your chest starts to itch. This time, you don't reach for a pocket that has nothing in it. You let the question sit there instead. And for the first time in a long time, you actually answer it yourself.